Again, with casino, it is extremely heavily regulated, right? And you can win money. So it makes sense that you can't have the risk of winning money without losing money, right? But with gacha games, come on.
For some people, though, man, like that PNG is worth more than money.
To me, it blew my mind that it took like.
I'm fucking serious.
How many? Why? What's wrong with you?
Because that's
what happened in your childhood,
That's serotonin. Because like I've never cared about like
anything.
No.
Until those PNGs came along.
I've never cared about winning money because, like, you know, to me, money has value. Like, obviously, like
you can't put a price on.
You can't put a price on wifeys. No, that's serotonin here. When you win, like a fucking character that you're actually emotionally attached to. You know what I mean? Because people who win money in casinos, they're not emotionally attached to this money.
I doubt that. I doubt that very much.
No. I've had friends who have had actual, you know, proper gambling problems as well. And I remember this. I knew a friend in university who one day won like £10,000 in a casino. Right,
wow.
Could have paid off his student loans. Could have been like completely debt free. And within 3 weeks, he had spent the £10,000
on gambling.
On gambling, mostly on gambling.
Right.
And I asked him, dude, you could have fucking invested this money. You could have used it like more wisely. You could have used it to better your life. Why did you spend it on gambling, or why did you spend it so easily? And he said, because I didn't care about it. Because he didn't earn it, right? Because he had no emotional attachment to the money because he was just given it. So to him, it just felt like
it is the equivalent of just someone coming up to you and being like, "Here's 10K."
Yeah.
But a lot of these, you know, the serotonin hit you get from these waifus. 3 months later, you don't give a fuck.
Well, that's on you. That's your prerogative, dude.
Do you give a shit about some of the games that you pulled for and got that lovely serotonin hit like
no,
months
but
after?
I have a nice memory. You know what I mean?
He goes to his fucking wall like, yes, I remember the time I pulled.
I had a good experience playing like all the Gacha games I've played. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played them in the first place.
Well, it's like, you know, going to it's like, you know, small, basically the same as like going to a fucking arcade or something, right? And like putting money into that.
No.
Yeah, it is.
That's different.
Yeah.
No, it's different.
It's like, yeah, you're only paying, you know, maybe 100 yen at a time, but it's still the same. It's like, what's the point?
The problem is that you could do 100 yen at a time. Yeah. And if I wanted to spend $500, which I try to do, it takes like 5 hours. It's a long time. If you want to spend 10 grand on gacha, give yourself 20 minutes.
10 grand in 20 minutes?
You probably could if you were just buying the highest option multiple times.
Speed running bankruptcy. Let's go, baby.
No, let's go. Like you could, I'm sure, you know, like you see these streamers who spent like 10 grand but they're making the money back.
Yeah.
Think about all the people who are doing that who aren't making the money back.
Yeah.
And some people are probably in the financial position to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But why even give yourself the chance of like making that happen to other people who aren't, right? Like you hear the horror stories of kids spending their mother's money and shit like that. Like, why is this even able to happen? There should always be a hard limit built in that shouldn't be able to go
okay,
over.
let me ask you.
It's on the person though.
Yeah, let me ask you this: what regulations would you want to see then? What regulations? How'd you fix this problem that you've that you've presented?
I think when you download the game, right, and there is gacha in it, there should be an immediate question of what is the maximum you're willing to spend in like 1 year. And you physically, no matter what you do, cannot go over that. Like, they will not.
But what if you said 0 and then you change your mind?
Well, that's on you. You've already said 0.
Well, then isn't that the same as just putting in the credit card numbers by yourself anyway?
Well, you've decided 0. You then can't hurt yourself more, and you're stuck with the thing because you agreed to 0. I think that should be a thing.
No, because like on the other side, then that means spending money in essence is also on you, right? That shifts responsibility from just one place to another.
This is the problem. Like, the problem that people have with, I think, when they're talking about like gambling addicts, is that we don't think of it because we're not gambling addicts. We can't think of it as, why don't you just not spend money, bro? That's not how it works. That's not how it, like, this is the problem, is that I think people alienate these people and don't even remotely think how it is to be in their position.
Right.
No, I totally understand, but at the same time, what I'm trying to say is, obviously there are people that are proper gambling addicts that have a problem that they, physically, have like cannot control, or have a harder time to control.
It's not.
But how do you introduce a system where, how do you introduce a system that can regulate that, as opposed to, other people who have, no problem, having willpower and being able to control their spending and financial decisions.
I do think that there should be a hard limit on monthly amount of money you can spend on any game. I legitimately believe that.
I believe that as well.
I do not think that, like, anyone should have any excuse to spend over like $10,000 on a video game a month. Like that should be like a hard limit baked into the game or App Store, like something like that. Because realistically, no one needs to spend over $1,000.
Yeah.
And if they do, if everyone's playing by the same thing of no one can spend over $1,000, the devs won't make games that are able to get benefit of spending over $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why there hasn't been some kind of like hard limit on video game spending. Like that,
because why would the devs cuck
no? Why would they? It's in like the government's best interest.
Yeah, I know. Like, I that's probably the best solution I can like agree on, because I do feel like there should be a hard limit on how much you can spend.
I think there also should be something again with like how you can say I want to quit like casinos, because gambling addicts probably aren't gambling addicts 24/7. It's probably like a lapse of like willpower where they're like, fuck, I need to gamble. I'm depressed or some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know how it works, but there should be something in the system that's like, okay, I want to gamble, all right? And then you can say that. Or at one point when you download the game, say, I don't want to gamble. You can only change this in, say, 7 days of like, are you sure? So you say, yes, I want to gamble. All right, come back in 7 days. If you're sure you want to gamble, we'll let you gamble, right? Why not something like that?
Developers?
Because most of the money I bet is spent is probably everyone's moment of weakness where they're like, fuck it, I'll spend $100. Come on, let's see what I get. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How often would you spend $100 on the gacha if I had to ask you, Joey, come back in 7 days, tell me you still want to spend that $100?
I just wouldn't bother with playing the game at that point.
Well, you'd play it free to play.
Yeah. Or not play it at all.
Yeah. I mean,
actually, more than anything, I'd probably not play it at all.
Yeah. Maybe, if you can't spend money in the game?
Well, no, if I'm persistently being asked, like, are you sure? Are you sure? You want to do it? I'm just like, I'm not even going to fucking bother with it then.
It's that intrusive? What do you mean you won't let me spend my money? Yeah. I'm furious.
It's like, leave me alone. I'll spend it if I want to spend it.
It's like the opposite now, where they're like, spend money. Yo, get this pack on deal.
Yeah, and I'm in a position where I'm like, I'll get the pack if I feel like getting the pack, but I'm not going to if I don't feel like it.
The same thing. What do you mean? You could just say no to the money thing.
Yeah.
You literally just said the same thing. You're just being an asshole now.
What?
Yeah, I literally just gave you the opposite situation where it's like spend money, and you're like, I'm fine, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So what's the difference of saying no? What? I feel like you're just playing devil's advocate just to piss me off.
Yeah, I love pissing you off. It's my favorite hobby.